The sky over Aurora, Philippines darkened as Typhoon Man-yi, locally known as Pepito, approached with terrifying power. What began as strong winds and steady rain quickly turned into a violent storm that transformed the landscape within hours. Trees swayed uncontrollably as the wind howled through towns and coastal villages. Rain slammed against rooftops and windows, while waves crashed hard along the shoreline. For many residents, it was clear this was not an ordinary storm. Pepito was arriving with destructive force, and Aurora was directly in its path. Before landfall, families rushed to prepare for the worst. Homes were secured as tightly as possible, fishing boats were pulled away from the sea, and many residents packed their belongings and moved into evacuation centers. The streets slowly emptied as the weather became more dangerous. The ocean grew rough, the sky became darker, and powerful gusts swept through the province. People waited anxiously, listening to emergency warnings and hoping the storm would weaken before reaching land. But it continued to strengthen as it moved closer. When Typhoon Pepito finally made landfall, the full power of the storm was unleashed across Aurora. Powerful winds tore through communities, ripping metal roofs from homes and sending debris flying through the air. Trees snapped and collapsed onto roads and power lines. Heavy rain poured nonstop, flooding streets and low-lying neighborhoods within a short time. Visibility dropped as the storm intensified, and the roar of the wind could be heard everywhere. Along the coast, giant waves pounded the shoreline, while storm surge pushed seawater inland. Entire communities were battered by wind, rain, and floodwater all at once. Inside homes and evacuation shelters, families waited through the terrifying night as the storm raged outside. Parents held children close while listening to the sounds of wind and debris crashing around them. In many places, electricity failed, leaving neighborhoods in darkness. Roads became blocked by fallen trees, and communication became difficult as the storm continued. For many residents, the hardest part was not knowing what would be left behind when daylight arrived. The hours felt endless as Typhoon Pepito continued moving across the province. When the storm finally passed and morning arrived, the destruction became visible everywhere. Homes had been badly damaged, roofs were torn away, trees lay scattered across roads, and power lines were down. Flooded streets were covered in mud, debris, and broken materials carried by the storm. Entire communities stepped outside to assess what remained. Cleanup began immediately as neighbors worked together to clear roads, remove debris, and search through damaged homes. Despite the destruction, people came together to help one another begin the long recovery process. Typhoon Man-yi, or Pepito, left a deep mark across Aurora, Philippines. The violent winds, flooding rain, and powerful waves created hours of fear and destruction that many will never forget. For the people who lived through it, this was more than just another storm. It was a night of survival, loss, and resilience. Even after the winds faded and the rain stopped, the impact remained in the damaged communities left behind. Pepito became another reminder of nature's immense power and of the strength people find in facing it together.